Before we begin, thank you very much to Darth Cybertron for becoming a patron over at patreon.com/TJOmega. Little bit helps to keep the channel going, keep the content coming, and to keep this push going at full speed, and just push out as much content as I can possibly get away with. Though, I don't know if what I'm about to do qualifies as content, more or less. I've been in the mood to talk. So let's talk about these plastic rocks in front of me. These are rock lords. And some of you out there are going to be wondering, well, what is a rock lord? And why am I staring at like 10 of them? So, a rock lord was a spinoff of the GoBots. See, back in the 80s, when Transformers and GoBots were kind of like all the rage, they tried pretty much anything as a transforming robot. That was just a thing the mid-80s did. And one of the things they tried, just doing whatever they could think of, was transforming rocks. This is kind of an extension of the pet rock thing that's all the way from back in the 60s. A lot of drug usage back then, so they would do just about anything. Well, it came back in the 80s. Trying to make rocks into viable toys. It didn't go over well. No, but for whatever reason, well, I say whatever reason, I know the reason, because of course, it's me. I've always had an affinity for a rock lord or two, and that comes from, if you remember me telling the Scorponok story, as a kid, I would get left with a babysitter, and the babysitter's stepson had a bunch of Transformers, but also had a bunch of rock lords, and more often than not, he'd let me play with his rock lords. So I never owned any as a kid. Well, I owned two. I owned Crackpot, which I still have somewhere around here. And then the purple, like, four-legged one. I can't remember the name of it offhand. I had that one too. Don't know what happened to that one. But these are the ones that I have gathered in a modern collection in an attempt to get a few more. So if you don't, so to give you an idea, there are just like any other good robot franchise of the 80s, there are good guys and bad guys. And the heroic rock lords, I don't think they had a designation for teams like Autobot or Decepticon, Renegade, or Guardian, or any of that. But, wow, hang on a second. I just noticed just how washed out that is. Oh, that's better. That's better. Sorry about that. Didn't realize how high the exposure was set. So yeah, this is Boulder. Boulder was the leader of the heroic rock lords. And you can see he's pretty basic as far as just overall design goes. Rock lords actually had some pretty good stuff going for them at the time. That's a universal shoulder joint, and he still has elbows. Here's a shocking thing to me. Take a look at his feet. Tell me what you notice. They have a slant to them. They sculpted a slant into the feet so they stand more naturally. Transformers didn't figure that out until the late 2000s, even into the 2010s. Shocking. That's just completely stunned me when I noticed that. Alright, so here we have the leader of the evil rock lords. This is Magmar. Not the Pokemon. No, he doesn't evolve into anything. Nope. Just plain old Magmar. It's a little bit of magma rock for you. And then we get into a whole, Boulder's obvious enough, but everyone had a rock pun as a name, just by default. Here's Brimstone, for instance. We can undo him. You can see the transformations were never anything to write home about. It's mostly, because of course they just had to fold up into something that somewhat resembled a rock. Also, you'll notice he didn't make any attempt to hide his face. I don't want to hear anything about Energon Ironhide for the rest of my reviewing life because this guy exists. He does have a big old mouth, though. I like his design, though. I like his colors. So, again, and again, he's got that foot slant to him. So he actually stands like a normal human being. As normal as he can look, that is. Yeah, so that's another evil one. This is Granite. He's a good guy. There's a ton of these, by the way, and they get like crazy expensive. Like there was a second series of them where you had a whole bunch. Like there's one called Hookstone. There was one based on an arrowhead, I think. Nothing that appeared in the GoBot and Rocklord movie, but they get super expensive on the aftermarket. And those, even as expensive as those get, they don't hold a candle to the Jewel Lords. And I had one as a kid. I had Flamestone, the Ruby, as a kid. I still would love to get that toy back, but good Lord, is it expensive. Good boy. It's crazy. Like now, to be fair, like most Rocklords you find on eBay, next to nothing. You can get just about any Rocklord from the first series you want for about $20 shipped. It's most likely not going to have a weapon. All of these did come with a weapon accessory. I almost never see examples that still have the weaponry attached to them. Bizarre that is. So that is Marbles, named for his big old brain that is exposed there. He's got a weird look to him. Like some of these don't even look like they're from the same toy line with the expressions they have. So what was interesting to me about these Rocklords is they give them weird names, but they kind of completely ignore them sometimes. So this is Stoneheart, and his joints are really, really loose. So I might have to dig up another one at some point. But something about him that I noticed, I didn't notice it as a kid. I notice it now. But you see that face and that expression? He's got a Loch Ness Monster thing going on to him. And to even drive it home, he's got the fins on the back. He is literally supposed to be based on the Loch Ness Monster. You think the people naming him figured that out? Nope. He's got gills. He's a rock with gills. So they completely missed the point on that. Stoneheart. Sounds like a Care Bear villain. Nope. Not digging that. Here's one of my favorite designs. So this is Tombstone. You can probably guess he's one of the evil ones. And they did have kind of a theme to them. The more humanoid ones, those tended to be the good guys. The more monstrous ones, of course, were the bad guys. I like this one because he's very snake-like. He's got those big fangs on there. He's got that kind of a scaliness to his abs. They're buried in there. And of course, he has his two-tone green because that's always a thing for me. But yeah, I definitely like him. He ends up really tall for a Rocklord too, thanks to how he works. So this is a fun one. This one is interesting. And also, by the way, I love some of the patterns they came up with on these. Look at the marbleization. Some of them are metallic, but look at the marbling on the boulder there. That's a super cool look. Transformers didn't even try anything that looked like that until Beast Hunters. So that'll tell you, not everything Rocklords did was just it's so easy to go transforming rocks. They did some genuinely cool and unique things for the day. Things like, the universal shoulders, the advanced articulation was there. You could tell, the natural stances on the legs, and yeah. And that goes right down to some really cool effects on the plastic that you didn't get. So here we have a two-headed boy. This is Sticks and Stones. They will break your bones because they are a bad guy. You know what's fun about them? One of the heads is voiced by Peter Cullen, and the other head, Frank Welker. Optimus and Megatron, in a competing toy line, shared a body. That is one of my favorite little pieces of trivia as far as Transformers and whatever transforming robots you could imagine. All right. Rocklords didn't just come in humanoid shape. Like I said, one of the ones I had as a kid was a actual four-legged dinosaur-looking dude. Can't remember the name offhand, and someone in the comments is going to tell me, and it's just going to be like, oh, how did I forget that? No, but this one This one I really like too. Neat, neat. Go over that. Get the tail out. Ah, I remember the tail is like really stuck on this guy. Ah, jeez. And then the head. These are not, sometimes not the most intelligently designed to transform. Sometimes they are a little bit weird to get out. So yeah, a big rock pteranodon named Terra Rock. And what I like about him is not only is it, just a divergence from the rest of the line, look at the skeletal details in him. Like, they go out of their way to make sure these guys, and the whatever his name is, the purple one does the same thing. So they kind of go out of their way to make sure those stand out a lot. I actually really like their designs. I wish they did more of the animalistic ones, because they do offer like a nice bit of variety. And then we go to the one that everyone actually remembers. This is Nugget, because of course he's a gold nugget. I'm actually really fortunate that I managed to find one on eBay that has such good chrome on it. Almost all the ones you find, the chrome has worn off so bad that the toy is more yellow than it is chrome. And he's got a little bit of that showing through, but it's not nearly as bad as it could be. You can see like there. That's what it looks like underneath the chrome. The problem with this boy is that he is die cast, and he has friction slides on his legs, so he does have a little bit of an issue there. Also, he has a little bit of automorph. He gets a jetpack that flips out when you flip the head up. So Nugget was one of those like kid appeal style sidekicky characters that didn't really do much in combat, but he was there, and he wasn't nearly as annoying as those tend to be. I actually really liked Nugget, and he's the only one who's all robotic. The whole theme to these things was they were people on a planet that turned themselves into rocks to survive a cataclysm kind of thing, but Nugget was the only one that's actually a full-on robot. So that was his whole ordeal. So the weird thing is, like, as I tell you about things like Jewel Lords, like Solitaire, the one female Rock Lord toy, the Diamond, she is the most expensive one that was released in America. For something better, you have to go to Japan, because of course this toy line started in Japan as a spin-off of Machine Robo, and there they had Fossil Lords. They didn't really have individual rock modes per se. They transformed into parts of a giant T-Rex that you took all three to combine. And the T-Rex had like power armor with all kinds of crazy weapons and things. It is ludicrously expensive to get a hold of one, because it's one of the ones that it's the only one I think that never came out in America. So, and I think America supplemented that with vehicles. There are vehicles for Rock Lords, which I didn't even remember that until I took a trip out to Tate's big toy store I really like, and they had a few of them. They've got one I should have picked up, and then I, for whatever reason, forgot it was there while I was in the store. So I might be back there in a couple weeks, and I'm going to pick it up then if it's still there. Because for whatever reason, like, they barely have any fiction attached to them. They turn into rocks, of all things, but for whatever reason, I just find so much charm to these guys. Like, aside from just uniqueness, they're such a good talking point, but also, like, I love the daringness to go, you know what? We're going to go in to do something weird and different when it comes to the transforming robot game. We're going to do rocks. We're going to do rock people, of all things. You know what? And it's an absolutely crazy idea, and they were crazy to attempt it, and I respect that. I absolutely respect that, just because you tried. And you know what? Sometimes that's what you have to do, just to see if it'll work. It's kind of what my channel's been going through the last couple months. It's just me trying stuff and seeing what flies. So if you watch through to the end of this one, thank you very much for another attempt to see what on this channel can fly. I want to do more weird random dives into my collection, because I do have some oddballs around here that are just like, why did I accumulate those of all things? But we wanted to start it with this because there was part of me that's like, I know there's fans of this, but I want to see you. If you like your Rock Lords, if you got a few of your own, if you grew up with them, or you love the novelty and you're collecting a few of them yourself, I kind of want to know. Let me know I'm not alone in my obsession with these plastic rocks, because it can't just be me, or I will lose my mind. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.